It's the Big Rich Live on the Mike Radio Show here on YouTube. The real news and strong opinions given here. A platform to chop up game with the family, you dig?
What's good, people? What's good, people? Big Rich here, and welcome to the Big Rich Live on the Mike Radio Show here. This is the Saturday show, y'all. We in the middle of the weekend. I first want to thank everyone for the views and the comments from yesterday's What's the Real Deal show. I also want to thank everybody for hanging in there with us. You know, you get old. I got to upgrade that RAM on my computer. The rendering, because that show was very long, it took a while to render. And then I messed around, just fell asleep. So when I got up this morning, I was like, dang, I didn't post it last week. So, yesterday. So it had to post today. But you guys still jumped on it and you viewed it, gave some good feedback and stuff like that. So I appreciate it. You know, I'm going to get it together eventually. One of these days, I'm going to get it together. But like I said, welcome. This is the Big Rich Live on the Mike Radio Show here on YouTube, the Saturday edition. We here again, trying to be in the building, bigger and better, trying to do it better than we did it last week, trying to do it better than we did it last month, last year. You know what I mean. I thought when I got up this morning, I was going to be able to rock. Like I said, yesterday's show in the beginning, I'll be able to rock and go on my little rant, my raggedy ass Knicks. But you guys keep sending these stories for my opinion, and I appreciate it. I mean, you know, I can't shuck my responsibilities. You know, I can't sit up here and let everybody know that I'm a former police officer, that I've been doing this for 23 years, and then shuck my responsibilities to explain police tactics and police issues and stuff that goes on. I would be remiss and less of a man if I didn't, because I feel it. There's a lot of people here on YouTube that are doing commentary, and you know, sometimes it's funny when I listen to them because they don't have a law enforcement background. When they say certain things, I was like, well, that's wrong. You can't do that, or you know, this wouldn't happen. You know, that lets me know that I have an obligation not to correct them, but I have an obligation to give my critiques, to give my opinions, to answer questions that you guys send on a regular basis to the best of my ability based on 23 years of experience. You feel me? So I've turned the corner on that, because I remember before I used to be like, well, you know, Tariq is doing that. Well, Jason Black is doing that. Benjamin Dixon is doing that. You know, that's cool, but neither one of them have ever been a police officer. You follow what I'm saying? So even though they do a great job, and I learn a lot from all three, you know, they have never been a police officer. So if I have some insight that I can give, and you guys continue to ask the questions, then that's what I need to do. So today we're going to talk about two shootings that are different than yesterday's target, or yesterday's topics. Where did I get target from? Topics. And we'll first start with the shooting in Seattle. I'll just read a little bit, give my little points, and then I'll go over my commentary. So Seattle police fatally shot a pregnant woman who they say confronted the officers with a knife. The young lady was an African-American female, mother of 4 or 5. I'm not too sure. Forgive me for that. Charlena Lyles. She had a documented history of health issues. I'm not going to say she's crazy. Nobody has said that she was crazy. She could be a little bit depressed, a little bit schizophrenic, whatever, you know, but she had a history of mental issues, and Seattle police knew it. The Seattle police said that their standard operating procedures was that one officer would go on these calls, which I don't know why you would do that, but we'll go on from there. The children were present. I don't know if the children were in the hallway, if she was shot in the hallway, if she was shot in the living room, if it was there, or they were somewhere in the house, but they were present. The my initial points on that was bad tactics, cowardly actions by the officers, and just piss poor training by the department. And I will break all of those down why I feel and said what I just said. But I do want to remind people is that in 2012, Seattle Police Department signed a consent decree with the federal government after DOJ had launched an investigation, and the results came out that it was a gross unconstitutional pattern or practices of discriminatory policing. The mayor of Seattle, Ed Murray, said, and I quote, "is a tragedy for all involved," end quote, and he promised for a thorough investigation. Now, let me sit back and explain why I said that it was piss poor tactics. The first tactic is to say, and this comes from the Seattle Police Department, that their standard operating procedure was to send one officer for a call like that. Well, maybe there's some miscommunication or something is lost in translation, but why would you send one officer to a possible burglary? Even if you know that this person is crazy and every time you gone over there, nothing has happened, shit need to break bad once. So why would you send one officer to one bad guy? First of all, you don't even know if it's one bad guy. It could be three bad guys. It could be two bad guys, one inside, one in the car, waiting for you to go up in there and then shoot you in the back. So I don't understand that. You know, I really don't. So if that is the case, then that's bad tactics. That's bad training to train their cops. Why I say it's cowardly officers. From the news, from the pictures that we've seen of her, from statements of her neighbors and her family, this woman was between 90 and 109 pounds, 4 months pregnant, where you can see. If you watch the videos, and there's two videos, you know I don't play videos, especially with anything with black folks or any other folks or dogs or whatever getting killed. I just don't do that. Google it. It'll come up. The first one is of the dash cam where you all you see is the building, but you can hear the voices. And we're disgusting. You know, they're disgusting with some of their jovial back and forth. And, you know, I'll address this later, but sometimes the juvenile in us comes out at the wrong time. And I feel that we can have fun on our jobs, but there need to be a switch. When something is serious, you need to be professional. You need to be the bigger person. You need to be the adult in the room. Because stuff like this comes out. If stuff like this goes bad, now you sound like you're an idiot and you sound like you have no compassion for a person. But the second one is, it looks like closed circuit TV because the apartment, according to the news, is a transitional apartment. So people who was homeless, it's transitioning into having their own place. There's programs, they help you out so you can basically move on with life. So you can see the officers coming down the hall, real good tactics. Then they get to the door. Now the door is recessed about maybe 3 feet in. You really can't see the door, but you can sort of project it 3 to 4 feet in. And then I'm assuming the door opens up. You hear them yelling, "Get back, get back, get back, get back, get back." Then they shoot and they kill her. Again, like I said before, the kids were in the house, but I don't know if the kids saw the shooting or whatever like that. When I say cowardly act is, there's two of y'all, there's one of her. You already know that she has a history of mental illness. She's 109 pounds. She has a knife. Now, she's not going to be able to go through your Kevlar. There's two of y'all. I'm not saying reholster and go hands on. I might have. because I'm almost 6'3", 312 pounds. I might have. I would not have feared her. I really wouldn't. Now, if had it been a muscular man that was 109 pounds, maybe he was a boxer, an MMA fighter or something like that, that might have been a little bit different. That might have been a little bit different. You know, you can't automatically say, okay, the person is this tall, the person weighs this much, this is what you got to do, because then you're an idiot. Because one could be 109 pounds with 4% body fat and an MMA fighter, and one can be 109 pounds and 6 months pregnant and just waddling. You feel me? When you talk about going back to tactics, I can only go by what would have happened if it was here in Orlando. First of all, if it's a burglary, somebody's calling and saying they think somebody's in their house, that's what they call a priority 1 call. What that means is the alert tone goes up, they send at least 2 units, they get a secure channel, okay? And if I'm not mistaken, Seattle PD is a bigger organization as far as number-wise than Orlando Police Department. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you get a secure channel, you got 2 people, and when you have a secure channel, you're going to have, unless everybody else is busy in the entire city, you're going to have more than 2 officers come up on the radio. One thing will not happen. They will not hang up from the person who called 911. Why? Because they need constant updating. Okay, lady. Okay, ma'am. We're on our way. I need you to stay on the phone. Tell me what's going on. Do you hear anything? Where are you? These are questions that you ask. Where are you? How many people are in here? Okay, you got kids in there. Where are they? Are they with you? Are you armed? What do you have? Is there any weapons in your house? These are questions that need to be asked before me as a police officer gets to the scene. Then when I get to the scene, me and my partner, if we're the first ones there, we're coming up on the radio and tell everybody to hold traffic. What that means is shut the hell up. I need a clear channel just in case something breaks bad. Okay? Now, you going in, again, because it's a burglary, you think somebody might be in there, you really can't say one is lethal, one is less lethal. What that means is, let's just say one cop has a taser, the other cop has a gun. But if you are talking to the subject on the phone, which is what headquarters should be doing, you can pretty much mitigate that and try to find out what's going on. Okay, ma'am, they're coming down the hallway. Where are you? Well, I'm at such and such. Can you open the door? Yeah, I'm at the door. I'm at the door. Are you still armed with a knife? Yes. Okay, what I need you to do is I need you to put that knife down and open up the door with your hands up and just walk out of the door. They will handle everything else. That's how that should have went. And because it did not go with that, that's bad tactics, that's piss poor training, and that's cowardly officers because you are behind cover. If you look at the video again, like I said, the door is recessed. So when I'm engaging, most of my body is behind the wall here. The door is here. I'm behind the wall. So I'm talking to the lady, talking to her, you know, put the knife down. Please put the knife down. Please put the knife down. And then we work it that way. You work it that way. It's to go from 0 to 100 is cowardly to me. I've been there. I have gone to calls where somebody has said, look, I got a gun. And headquarters would be like, put the gun down, put the gun. I'm not putting the gun down until I see the police, because I put the gun down. If somebody's in here, okay, you have to understand that. And what you do before you come to the door, either the police come to the door to kick in the door or you come to the door, at that second, that's when you put that gun down. I need you to put the gun down. I'll be in there at headquarters. So the person still has a gun? Yeah. Or the person still has a knife? Yes. Can they open the door? Yes. They come and open the door. Tell them to put the knife or the gun down before they open the door. This is tactics. These are policies that should be in place. These are policies that should be in place all the time. I'm not going to really run on the fact to say, okay, well, she was pregnant, this, that. I'm just saying, you as a police officer, this right here, everybody can see this? Let me move over here. This here. Your mouth is your best weapon in almost 99.9% of occasions. It really is. Because if you speak stoic, if you have what they call military bearing, if you know what the hell you're doing, and you are channeling that fear, because as you walking up, you don't know who's in there. You don't know if it's a true burglary. So you channel that fear, you channel that inner fear into positive emotion, positive energy. This should never went down, ever. But see, the problem is, you know, like I said yesterday, officers need to lose their jobs. If that's how they train their officers, then it's the department's fault. It's not necessarily the officer's fault. It is the department's fault to teach that type of tactic, to have that type of scenario go around, that there wasn't a clear channel. There wasn't any communication with the victim prior to you coming in the house. How the hell are you going to come to the house, come to the door? You don't know what's going on in there. And for people who want to sort of Monday morning quarterback and really don't know what they're talking about, it would be different if a neighbor called and said, hey, I hear some glass breakage. I know for a fact, or I think my neighbor is not there because they are on vacation. They should be at work. They left for the movies, whatever. Can you send some officers to check that out? That is the only reason I can see not establishing any type of connection with somebody that's in the house. You should still have more than one officer. You should still have a clear channel so you can converse between your officers and set everything up. This just piss poor from the word jump. But then you bring the racial aspect because of the consent decree that you found out. So that's where the racial aspect comes in. And then when you hear these idiots laughing and all this old bullshit, and I'm not saying there was a laughing after the shooting, but laughing on, on the radio and shucking and jiving and all that type of stuff, piss poor. It's piss poor. This shouldn't have never happened. I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll continue to say that until I'm done in this on this earth. 99.9% of the shootings, if you really analyze it, no, that's too light. That's too. I would say 85% of all shootings, if you sit back and analyze it and use good tactics, it should have never happened. It should have never happened. If you are doing the right thing, it shouldn't have never happened. This shouldn't have never happened. So let's go to the next story. Next story, the deadline. Dang, man. The headlines from the Daily News is California teen shot and killed by police aiming for dogs. Okay. It says a 17-year-old boy was fatally shot after a bullet intended for his dog skipped off the pavement and struck the boy in the chest, authorities said Thursday. The shooting occurred when deputies responded to a loud noise complaint at a house party in Palmdale, California. When cops showed up, the teen's 65-pound pit bull bit one of the officers on his knee. The boy restrained the dog, took him to a carport, was an area behind the home. As the deputies waited for medical treatment, the dog became loose again, charged the deputies, two of whom opened fire. The sheriff department said At least one of the bullets struck the boy in the chest. The dog retreated behind the building where deputies found the wounded boy. He was taken to Antelope Valley Hospital where he died. Okay, let's break this down. First of all, those are two of the worst shooting deputies I've ever seen in my life. How do you when you pull out your weapon, and this is why we train, or you're supposed to train, you're supposed to shoot a lot. It's because when you pull out your weapon, you are not supposed to shoot out of fear. You're not supposed to shoot like herky-jerky. You're supposed to steady yourself, line up your sights, and aim for center mass. Now, granted, this dog, right? This dog is coming at you. 65 pounds. 65-pound dog running, jumps on you. They damn sure might hit you or knock you off your balance and knock you to the ground. So I'm not saying that they shouldn't have shot the dog. But these fools missed the dog and shoot the boy. So now we go with charges. There's probably some charges you can put on to these cops. It won't happen, but there's probably some cops. But I tell you one thing, they both need to lose their job. Because this is what I'll say. When I started in the academy in 1993, I know it's a dog's age. I know it's a dog's age ago. The mantra was, be careful of what you shoot because you don't know what's behind it. Also, you are responsible for every bullet that goes out of that gun. You damage it, you buy it. So they have shot a child. I don't know if I really agree with all this ricochet crap. I mean, that's a pretty big coincidence. That's a pretty big thing to happen, that it would hit the ground and then bump up or ricochet up high enough to hit him in the chest. Now, if you read some of the statements from their PIO and their homicide detectives and stuff like that, they'll say their upper torso, but the news is saying in the chest. So I don't know. I don't really know as far as that's concerned. But like I said on yesterday's episode of What's the Real Deal, there are things that you can survive and there are things that you cannot survive. When you mistakenly shoot somebody, and I've said this yesterday, I continue to say it. When you mistakenly shoot somebody, those are mistakes you cannot survive from. Period. You mistakenly discharge your gun and shoot yourself or shoot into the ground or we had people, when I first came on playing with the shotgun, we used to have a shotgun rack just flicking on the trigger. The safety wasn't on and blow off the roof of the car. You might say, okay, I'll give you 280 hours suspension or whatever it might be, so you learn from it. But if you mistakenly shoot somebody, you need to lose your job. These are things that people need to understand. Like I've said before, if you truly do what needs to be done to screen police, administer police, care for police, monitor police, a large chunk of current police officers would be disqualified from being police officers because it's stuff like this. And let me tell you something. I hated training. Hated it. Hated defensive tactics because it was always in the cramped spots. You mess around, you get with somebody who's, a young whippersnapper and they trying to hit you like you stole something. You're like, look, man, let's just go through the motions. When you get to be a chiseled veteran. I didn't like the gun range because you up, down, laying on your back, laying on your side. I'm like, dude, I'm not shooting nobody. I'm not shooting nobody that way. And yeah, there might be a time, but it's few and far between. And 23 years never having to shoot in that position proves my point. Or anybody in the department in that time. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't like that. But I did know and I did understand that when it was time for us to qualify, I qualified. was never relieved of duty, never had to have my gun taken because I couldn't qualify. I made sure that I engaged the target and did what needed to be done to make sure that I was proficient and to understand and go through things on a regular basis so that stuff like that wouldn't happen. Mistakes happen. They really do. Mistakes happen, and this very well could have been a mistake, but that doesn't mean that you survive it. Doesn't mean that you keep your job. That surely doesn't. So it's horrible that it happened, really. I mean, you know, it seems a little iffy. You know, well, how did the dog get away again? You know, where was it? I just don't understand. You know, I really don't understand. I'm like, okay, well, why? The dog bit the first deputy on his or her knee, and then they sort of backed off and was waiting for units and medical attention, but nobody addressed this child or their parents to find out anything about the dog. I don't know. You know, it's still a fluid. It's still a fluid investigation. So I particularly don't know how that jumped off, but it makes you wonder, you know, what the heck is going on with certain police departments. Remember, we just had the first story about Seattle police and their tactics. You know, I know that in certain agencies, especially large agencies, they have pictures of everybody. And then, you know, you're supposed to look at these books, you know, they probably have them on the police database or something like that. So you can recognize officers so that there's not friendly fire. I know in New York, even though it don't work all the time, they have certain words that if there's a foot pursuit or something like that, and you see somebody with a gun, and not only do they identify themselves as a police officer, but they give you the code word, whatever word it was for that day or that week. I don't know. You know, they'll be like, you know, let's just say the word was blue ivy or whatever. You know, hey man, I'm on the job, you know, 13th precinct, such blue ivy. Boom. Okay, we all know that this person in plain clothes is on the job, which means working, and they are in this precinct or whatever. You follow what I'm saying? So I just don't understand, you know, how things happen this way. I think that the two officers that shot this kid mistakenly, they need to lose their job. The Seattle whole situation, them two need to lose their job. And Seattle's it's just a little bit different. You know, I think that their whole training, standard operating procedures need to be addressed, readdressed, and redrawn. You know what I'm saying? That's just me as far as that concerned. So I hope I answered your questions. I hope I gave coherent answers and my opinions. Whether you agree with them or not, you know, that's my experience as a former law enforcement officer. So if you like this, put the thumbs up. If you don't, put the thumbs down. I'm cool within it. Lay your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And also, let me know at the end of this, I have somebody on Fervor do me. It's called the End Scene. And this is the first time we're going to be using it. And hopefully we'll be using it from now on. So let me know how you like that. Put the thumbs up if you like that. That's cool. Also want to make an official announcement. It's been happening, as you notice, that this channel has changed from the Big Rich Live on the Mic radio channel to Dark Shadow Media Group, and the other areas are also being changed. So we always had our website at www.darkshadowmediagroup.com, but the Twitter handle used to be B R Live on the Mic is now Dark Shadow Media TV. So it's, you know, I think we have like 1,000, 8,009 followers or something like that. Y'all will still be followers. It won't affect that. But when you see the tweets and you see the retweets and stuff like that, you're like, well, what's this? That's all that's changed. So hopefully I wasn't lazy and I didn't change it along the bottom here. So we'll see. So if it still says B R Live on the Mic, for Twitter. That is no longer that. Is Dark Shadow Media. Okay? So that's it for this show. I want you guys to have a wonderful weekend. I don't know if we're going to have a movie review show on Monday. I was supposed to go to the movies yesterday. I don't feel like going to movies today. We might go to the movies tomorrow. We'll see what it is. Well, we'll see. If not, hey, we'll get to it when we get to it. So in the meantime, in between time, stay blessed. Please stay safe. Always stay woke. Peace. I'm out of here.